This is the beginning of my January video log. I have some books I want to talk about. I'll start with that in here and I'll go grab some. I think that most of the ones are nearby. It says I need more light, but I'm gonna move this candle so it's not in the screen. Because sometimes it makes funny halos on there. So anyways, I wanted to start, with Happy New Year. I hope all has been calm and well for you so far, with moments of beauty and even happiness. I like moments of happiness. Yeah, so I'm going to start. I'm still loving the same thing I talked about before. I'm really, except I don't know if I don't know where I was when I ended, but I'm really just in one book. And you'll see, I just can't seem to part from one and bring another one in. It's just too much for me right now, and it's actually working really well. And I went back to, I finally finished that one book, and I went back to my favorite Hobonichi paper, and I'll show it to you in a minute, but it's just what I like. And I know the only thing that I don't like is that there's no page numbers on this. And so I've started numbering the pages. You can barely see it, it's in pencil. But I know that Sterling Ink makes one that I might try. They have a really, really big one, which is too big for me. And then they have a smaller one that's more like this. But the only thing is that I can get this for a really good price. You can get these on Amazon for like $19 now, the Hobonichi notebooks. And I have my cover, and so I don't know, I might just stick with this again. I have a day free that I could use, but it has all these wasted pages in the beginning of a calendar, which I guess I could use, but I'm kind of partial to what I have going. So I might use that for a while, just use it up. Just right across the calendar like it was a normal page, because it's so faint anyways. But yeah, I'm really happy to be back and with my tissue thin paper. So everything's the same here, really. I've got my pencil board and my stickers and my calendar. I think I talked about this in the last one. I'd started it, left it, and came back to it. And it's been working really well. This is the extra, I guess, book, but it's all in one thing. And this is just my monthly calendar. So whenever I get an appointment, this is for January, so not too many have come in yet. But whenever I get a timed appointment or something really important that I know I have to do on that day, it goes in here. And that's it. So that's all that's in this book. And it's right in here. It's right on my desk, so it's super easy to take with me. I don't know, just works. So I don't even need to look at that, really. But and what I end up doing, I just usually take these things out and I open up my pen pouch and just kind of pull things out like this. I have too many in here right now, but whatever. I moved to my blue highlighter and pencil, so that's new. I think I was on the pink one last time. I still have my gray highlighter. Mostly the same things, but anyways, there's too many things. But I just usually push that off to the side, and then I've got lots of room. So again, this book, the only thing I really do to decorate it is I take a piece of my favorite manga and put it in there. The Girl from the Other Side. I just love that series. Yeah, so this is just lots of writing, and I explore different pens and different ways of doing things. And for a while I was putting my weekly schedule in here, but I ended up doing something a little bit different. I've experimented with all sorts of things in here, but let's see, something free recently. Okay, so no, this is I think the first week I did it. I take my BK dashboard and stick it right in my notebook, and that way I've got my weekly calendar written down, like the most important things that I can't forget, which is expanded upon by the day. And then just things I don't want to forget, you know, like lists, whatever. This one I didn't do too much in. But anyways, these are, I thought I had another one in here. Maybe not. No, anyways, did I? Is there another week yet? I swear I had another one in here. Thought I had two, but anyway, maybe not. So I'm also, instead of doing double margins, I've moved to a wider margin and then a side margin, because remember I had a separate commonplace book. It's all in here now. It's all in here. So if there's something that should be commonplace, it is notated with this little sticker, and I put a key in here somewhere. Where did I put it? I thought I did. Yeah, here. So I just moved it into 3 things, and then I've also got an index in here. So I can make notes about certain things, because my big collections are in the back still, right? Things that I'm keeping separate from my daily stuff, like big projects and books that I read. So where is that? Let's see. Books that I've read, 129. So I can go back and find page 129. I've got different sections. This is going to be my planning for my trip to Ireland for this year, you know, things like that. So books that I read. So we're gonna reference this in a little bit. So I'm gonna tuck that in. So these are the books I read since I've been in this book. And then when this book is done, I'll reassess everything and either move it into my new book in the back or get rid of it if it hasn't been that important to me, or it's just been sitting there empty. I just get rid of it. But it's just been so much easier, and I'm not sure how to say it, but it's just nicer to have everything in one place. It's like really special, you know? And then I just archive these one by one, and I've got a big archive already, and I've got so many that are like halfway done or whatever. It doesn't matter, they're all archived in order. But this is just so nice. It's very special to have one book for me. I know it's not for everybody, but for me it's been really, really wonderful. So, and I can tape things in here. I can do commonplace. I do my daily schedules in here. So here, you know, like this was for Wednesday, which was New Year's Day. I didn't have a whole lot going on, but I did a lot of writing that day. Thursday I worked, so I didn't have a whole lot else to do because I was away from home for 9 hours. So, and then here's today, and I've got quite a big list today. But anyways, it's been working great. I just wanted to update you on that. And oh, I'm so happy to be back with my crinkly, lovely paper that feels so nice when I touch it. It feels like it's textured from the ballpoint. Even the fountain pen leaves a texture, but the ballpoint's the best. It's just the best. So that's that. Update on notebook. And then again, just my stickers are in here. This little Travelers Company paper folder. No change to my pens at all. Everything's the same. Gray inks. I just did a fountain pen video a few days ago, or last week or something, and it's all the same. So the other thing I wanted to update you on are books that I've read, and I know I talked about some of these in my last vlog. Snow and Rose, Spinning Silver, So Long, See You Tomorrow, I know I talked about. I also read a book, let me get it, it's right here. And I picked this up when we were visiting a bookstore in Buffalo called Black Rock Books. And it just, the owner really recommended it. She said it was a very wonderful story, especially if I was someone who loved, like Claire Keegan, who's one of my favorite writers. I would say that this is nothing like Claire Keegan at all. This is a Norwegian writer, Ingvild Rishoy. It's called Brightly Shining. I would say it's a holiday time story. It's very short. It took me maybe 3 days to read it. And the typeface is really large, which was wonderful. I just love that. I wish all books were like that at this age. But But anyways, it's a very quiet story told through the eyes of a young girl. And she lives in sort of a dysfunctional home. Her father is an alcoholic, and her mother is not in the picture. And she lives with her father and her older sister. And it's just their story. And her older sister, and about the people along the way who help them and also cause them harm. And it's a really tender, somber story that has some magic in it. Not magic, but I mean magical, right? It's just, there's some beautiful moments in this book, but it's also very sober. And it's through the little girl's eyes, so there is a bit of magic, right? Things, yeah, like miracles do happen. Sometimes there just isn't any other way out, and that's when a miracle happens. And you'll find that throughout this book. So it was really heartwarming. It was really sad. Again, somber, sober, real story, and funny at times. Yeah, brightly shining. I mean, I recommend it. I gave it 3 stars. 3 stars is a really good book. I probably won't reread it. 4 stars is a good book that I would reread. And 5 stars is like the creme de la creme, and it rarely happens. So, yeah, I do. I really recommend it. It was lovely, and I'll probably pass this on to someone. Yeah, so Brightly Shining by Ingvild Rishoy. I think the reason why she said if I liked Claire Keegan, I would like this, because there isn't a lot of excess, right? It's just very simple, plain language. There isn't a lot of excess. Part of that could be through the translation, but I really think that that's probably what she meant. There's not a lot of extra in this story, but I would say it's not as poetic as Claire Keegan. I think her work is really poetic. Okay, so that was Brightly Shining. And then the next one I finished was Winter Solstice by Rosamund Pilcher, which I've read. This was my 4th time to read that book, I think. I read it first when I was in my late 20s, maybe. I've always loved it. I love her books in general. When I want cozy and I want to feel like I'm in a cottage in Scotland, drinking tea and eating toast and sausages and warming by the fire, I read Rosamund Pilcher. And her characters are wonderful, and it's just always wonderful human stuff. Lots of characters, lots of storylines going on. So I gave it a 4 star because I love it. It's a wonderful book, and I know I'll read it again someday. I like to reread. Others might not, but 4 stars is a high rating for me. So if you've never read Winter Solstice and you like cozy family, kind of saga, lots of characters, a matriarch, that kind of thing, I think you'd really like it. It's beautiful. And then I started Tidelands by Philippa Gregory on recommendation. I actually returned it. I read another Philippa Gregory book, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, called The Other Boleyn Girl, and I enjoyed it. I really did. But it was just too much. It was over the top for me right now. I'm far more into quieter stories and not so over the top. I don't know how to explain that. Like the drama was very dramatic. Lots going on. Very, like, I felt exclamation points even though there weren't any. Do you know what I mean by that? I think it was a really good story. But it wasn't for me right now. So I put that, I returned it. And so I need to DNR that. Let me grab the books that I'm reading right now. And I think you'll understand what I mean by over the top. It's not for me right now. So this is Elizabeth Stroud is one of my favorite writers. I read most of her books. I think I have 3 that I have not read that are on my shelf that I want to read this winter. I've read a couple of them twice, Olive Kitteridge maybe 3 times, and I still pick it up every now and then just to open it and read a few words because her writing really inspires me as a writer. She won the Pulitzer Prize for Olive Kitteridge. If you have not read that book, I couldn't recommend it more. That's a 5-star read for me. This one is called Olive Again, and I've had it for over a year and I haven't read it yet. And Rick started listening to it on audiobook, and so I thought I would start it, and I'm really glad I did. It's just so good to be back in her company, Olive Kitteridge. So yeah, I haven't finished it, so I don't have much to say yet, except that I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, if you've read this, let me know. I I'm just happy to be back in that world. It's wonderful. And then I started reading this, Housekeeping, which I read probably 20 years ago or more. This was the first novel of Marilyn Robinson, and she won the Pulitzer for Gilead, which is also a book that I really liked when I read it. But again, I'm reading it for that quiet, haunting narrative and first-person narrative, because the book that I've been working on for a long time now has that. And I just like to read other writers that have the qualities, not the same voice at all, same subject or anything, but how do I want to say it? It's first person done in the way that I hope mine will turn out. It's just really evocative and sort of a haunting quality to it. So that's why I'm reading this. And I haven't read it in a long time, and it's just as good. I remembered it being wonderful, but it's just as good. So that's what I'm reading right now. So I'm going to actually update this. I'll just use this pen. So DNR. And I can just make an X through it. And then I've got Olive Again. I'm even going to write the DNRs in here because I did read about 40 pages of this. Or maybe they call it DNF. I don't know, whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay, and then this is Housekeeping. I didn't leave enough room. That's okay. Okay, so that's what I'm reading right now. Yeah, I've also been working a lot on a course that I was going to have as a standalone course. Now it's actually going to be, it's available to everyone on my Patreon. Even as a free member, you have access to this course. It's called The Quiet Horizon. And actually today is January 3rd, and the first installment is posting today. So if you're not a member of my Patreon, you can join for free right now. You can also join for a very low cost per month and get lots of good stuff. But I have all different types of memberships, from monthly to private mentorships, and it's really all very reasonably priced. So anyways, these are my notes on this course so far, and I'm keeping them in a separate notebook because I want to keep very good records. I actually have some things in my regular notebook that I need to transfer into here, because I want to keep really good records for this, because I'd say started really writing stuff about this down about 6 months ago, and I've written about it a little bit on my Substack, The Philosophy of Gray, and I'm sort of developing a philosophy, I think, and I want to keep good record of it in case I want to take it further into a book of its own or something. So that starts probably this afternoon. You can sign up, and whenever something is available, you'll get a notification by email if you choose to, and it's completely free. I'm going to have my coffee account, Ko-fi, whatever it's called, linked every now and then, or with every post or whatever, in case you want to give me a tip, or it's just better that way for me, I think, because we don't always have money to spend, but sometimes we need what we want to be involved in, right? And so it's nice because then if maybe a month later you have $5, you can send it, or whatever. I've had people send all different amounts. I really like that. It's sort of a free will offering. And it's just super personal and important to me, this course. And so I don't want it to be behind a paywall. I want anyone to be able to access it, sort of like my Substack. Yeah, so that's coming. I will put a link to my Patreon in the description box. I'm trying to think. That's probably it for today. I've got a lot of work to do, so you saw my list. It's pretty long today. So I'm gonna get started on that. But I just wanted to pop in for the new year, and of course, like the last month's video, it'll come out sometime toward the end of the month. I'm gonna try really hard to not make it as long this time. It was too long. It was 2 hours or more. Too much. All right, everybody. Thank you, and I will see you in the next installment. Good morning. My phone is perched precariously on the tops of a stack of books on my desk because, I don't know, I'm sitting here writing and I just felt moved to speak to you. So this morning, I finished Olive Again by Elizabeth Strout. I loved it. I loved it. It's raw and real and very Olive, and it's wonderful. So if you read Olive Kittredge and you enjoyed it, I highly recommend Olive Again. Maybe you've already read it. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I loved it so much, I started another Elizabeth Strout book that I've had for years and have never read it. It's her first published novel called Amy and Isabel. And I started it. I'm only, I lost my bookmark. Darn it. Hold on, I gotta find where I was. Okay, here it is. I'm only on page 25, but the passage that I read when I put my bookmark in and closed my book, because I knew I had to make note of this passage, boy, it just really stunned me. So I want to read it to you and talk to you for a minute. So Amy and Isabel Amy is the daughter, Isabel's the mother. They live together in a town called Shirley Falls, and they work at a mill. Isabel, the mother, is a secretary to, I don't know, somebody high up in the mill. And Amy is just an entry-level employee there, but they work in the same room. And it is very palpable when they are interacting with each other or in the same room together that they don't get along. And that Amy is a huge disappointment to her mother, and I think vice versa. It's clear. So anyways, when they get home from work that day, they've just had dinner, and Isabel is having thoughts. She's up in her room getting ready for bed. The mother has having some thoughts. So I'm going to read this passage to you. She's talking about when they first moved to Shirley Falls and the house that they live in now, the little white house. It was empty when Isabel Goodrow made her first cautious trip to Shirley Falls, scouting out the possibilities of raising her daughter there and finding a husband, which was really what she hoped to do. The little white house struck her immediately as a perfect temporary dwelling place, in quotes. Those were the exact words she had used to Mr. Crane that day as he stood in the living room with his hands in his pockets, nodding his balding, age-spotted head. He had offered to paint the walls for her and allowed her to pick the color. She chose a pale, glowing beige, drawn by the name in the hardware store, Heavenly Gates. She sewed the curtains that still hung in the windows, planted a garden in the yard out back, filled window boxes with purple petunias and pink geraniums, And old Mr. Crane was pleased. A number of times he had offered to sell her the place at a very good price, but Isabel, though she had a small nest egg left from her mother, always refused. It was a temporary dwelling place. Except apparently it was not. They had lived here now for 14 years. The thought could sometimes make Isabel feel physically sick, as though she had gulped in stagnant water from a pond. Her life was moving forward the way that lives did, and yet she was no more grounded than a bird perched on a fence. And she might one day find herself without even the fence, for presumably at some point Mr. Crane would die. She hadn't thought of a polite way to ask what would happen to their rental agreement in case of this event, but she could not bear to buy the house, could not bear to stop thinking her real life would happen somewhere else. Wow, right? I mean, how many things in your life are like that? Not exactly like this, but how many things in your life are like maybe someday, you know, maybe someday I'll be living my real life, the life I was supposed to live. But what if we are already? What if that is her real life? And instead of longing for the one she's never had or going to have and making her feel bad about what she has right now, what if she accepted that that was her real life and made it wonderful, the best she could, the best that she could? And I, I finished that paragraph and I knew immediately that I needed to write it down, so I transcribed it into my notebook. But I thought about all the things in my life that are like that, maybe some days. I mean, I used to have this big dream. I knew for a fact that I would be a writer. I would be a published writer. I'd be writing novels, and I'd be living in this little cottage on the coast of Ireland. I knew it, right? Obviously, I'm not. I'm here. Near Buffalo, New York, in my wonderful house with my wonderful partner, and living a wonderful life, basically. But every now and then, that dream rears up in me and niggles at me a little bit, and I feel bad. Like, wow, I guess I'm never going to do that. There's so many different kinds of things that we have that, Maybe it's you always thought you would be a mother and you never were able to have a child or adopt a child. I mean, I know people that are in that situation, and it's a devastating place to be. But how do you move on from that when it's clear that it's not going to happen? How do you move on from that? God, it's a big question, right? I'm overweight. I've been overweight since I had my daughter 33 years ago. I never lost the weight, and then I'd lose the weight, and then I'd regain more, and then I'd lose the weight, and then I'd regain more. I've tried everything. I eat really healthy. I do the best I can to take good care of myself. My health and my blood work have improved like they're normal, through the way I eat. But I'm overweight. And I hate that. I hate that about myself. I keep thinking, oh, this is not the real me. One day I'll be thin and fit, but maybe I won't. And why do I need to keep feeling bad about myself? Because of who I am right now, And so we all have these things that we beat ourselves up about or feel badly about inside that we never talk about, really. What are those things for you? Have you ever really thought about it? I think it's good to give it some air and to think about it. Talk about it to your notebook. Talk about it to the wind. Talk about it to someone you love if you trust them enough to do that. But there are so many things like that in our lives. And you can feel it in this book that it's palpably ruining her life, that she has all of these maybe some days, instead of being right where she is and opening her heart to that and doing the best she can with what she has. Anyways, just some thoughts. And a reminder of the beauty of fiction, the magic of fiction, because the truth is, I'll never know what it's like to be you. You'll never know what it's like to be me. And that's one very good reason why we can't judge other people and their situations. Only have compassion. And fiction is that miraculous little gift that allows us to do that for a brief amount of time. We can sort of inhabit someone else and feel what it feels like to be someone else. That's the gift of it. That's the magic of it. That's why we read, right? It makes us better people, makes us more compassionate people, especially toward ourselves. So that's my little spiel for today. I will see you again very soon. I'm off to work, but I really, that just kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I really wanted to talk about it. All right, see you soon. Hello. I want to talk for a few minutes about ballpoint pens. I know that it's always fountain pens, fountain pens, fountain pens. Everybody loves fountain pens, but I actually love ballpoint pens more than gel pens. I'm not a big gel pen fan, and I'm going to try to explain why. So this is my notebook. Most of it is in ballpoint pen. This is actually a gel pen that I do like, but I still don't like it as much as my ballpoint pen. And you can see I kind of go back and forth between that. Every now and then I have tried fountain pens in here, and I just prefer my ballpoint pen. Like when I touch this page, there's like no texture. I feel nothing, you know. But when I touch this page, I feel texture. I feel that this lovely oily sheen of ballpoint pen. And so here's more ballpoint, right? Ballpoint. I feel it. Like the pages feel, I don't want to say, they feel like almost like braille or something. There's just a real texture to them, and I really, really love that. So here, this is fountain pen, you see, and it just like, well, it's lovely, and I love it when I'm writing a letter or anything like that. But in here, I just prefer my ballpoint, or I use a pencil. I like both. And I'm going to tell you why. Ballpoint, pencil. There is something, it's all tactile for me, right? So that's last week. Let me see this week. Okay, we'll just start on a new page here, so I don't have to. This is for next week, so we'll just actually we'll go on the back, and we'll do it back here because I've got some free pages in the back that I've left. I'm going to pull out my ballpoints first and just kind of talk about the ones that I like and what I use them for. And of course a pencil, and I'm going to talk about that too because I put them all in here. And I've got some in here too. So here's the other thing I want to talk about. Sometimes people talk about ballpoint, that something's a ballpoint, but it actually isn't. It's a hybrid. Like Uni-Jetstream are hybrid inks. They're not true ballpoint inks. I am talking about the good old-fashioned oil-based ballpoint ink. And the way you can tell, there's two ways you can tell. Big Crystal is the perfect example. If I'm using it, I can go very, very faint. I can draw with it beautifully, just like I would draw with a pencil. I can shade with it, just like by barely touching the paper. I can shade with it just like I would be using a pencil. And the other part, the more pressure I put, of course, the darker it gets. But the other part of it is that ballpoint pen, like the real ballpoint ink, feels tacky on the paper. Like when you do this, you can feel it. You can feel the pen on the paper, like with this sort of stickiness that I love. And when you hold it into the light, it has a sheen. Big ballpoint, the black one, has a red sheen, like a violet red, magenta. It is beautiful, right? Nothing else does that the way ballpoint does. The other thing, pencil does the same, right? If you can go really lightly, and it still has a little bit of a sheen, but if you go really dark with pencil, it also has that sheen, and that just thrills me. It's like sparkles to me, right? It just, anything that has a sheen or shimmer thrills me. It's different than ink that has glitter in it. I like that too, but this is different. Okay, so if you take another, this is a hybrid. This is from Take a Note. This is their, what they called a ballpoint pen, and I got it free as something. But it doesn't have the same properties. Like, I can kind of get shading, but not really. I mean, nothing's happening. If I write harder with it and then come back in and try to do that really pale, it just doesn't get as pale. The reason why is it's a hybrid ink. It's meant to write like with more of a flow, a little bit smoother. And the other thing is when you first write with it and you do this, it will smear because that's part of that hybrid ink. A true ballpoint pen, when you write with it, does not smear, okay? So that's the other thing. That's another way you can tell. If it's a hybrid ink, it will smear quite a bit, right? And then if I take it, it gets a little bit of a sheen, but not like the regular ballpoint pens, all right? And again, it smears. All right, and where ballpoint ink does not smear. So that's not a real ballpoint. It's a hybrid. It's a ballpoint, but it's a hybrid, right? It has some kind of different technology to it. This pen I'm not sure of. I don't even know what the name of this is. I got it somewhere. I can't read this. It has something on here. There's no way I can read that. It's really a nice pen. I enjoy writing with it. And it is fairly real. It's a true ballpoint ink, and I really like it. If anybody knows what this is, please let me know. I love this pen, and I know it wasn't expensive, but it also has that nice sheen to it when you go dark. But it's a little bit different. It's more of a like a coppery sheen. It's very pretty. So if you know what this is, please tell me. It's not an expensive pen. I cannot read this. There's something written on this little silver band, and there's no way for my eyes to pick that up. This is a super nice one. I like this very much. And Big Crystal is probably, I write with this all the time in my journal, you know. The only thing about Big Crystal is they're toss away pens. You throw them away. Like this one, you can get a refill for, right? It takes, I think it just takes a regular, yeah, just a regular refill, like so many. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe it says something here. Made in Sweden. Medium, original refill. Certified Svensk art. Made in Sweden, medium. That's all it says. I don't know. Don't know. Well, I just know I like it. So if you know what it is, please tell me, because I would like to get another one. Okay, so they're now making a refillable Bic Crystal. It's like a matte silver, and it comes with refills, exactly the same ink, which is great. Okay, moving on. This is a great pen. It's a Leuchtturm pen, and I just have a regular, it's got a Parker Quink refill in it. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, Pelican ballpoint refill, which is real. I do like this. It's nice to write with. It's not nice to write with for a very long time. I like the octagon, or the like this. So you basically twist it, open and close the top. And this is the Pelican black refill. It has a sheen that's kind of rose gold. It's not as magenta as the Bic. It's very pretty. It's a little bit more rose gold, and it also works like a real ballpoint. So that's the Pelican refill in the Leuchtturm pen. It's nice. This is a Parker jotter. Awesome pen. Listen. Probably the most satisfying click out there. It's really nice. This is a blue ink, and this is Parker Quink Blue. It is gorgeous to write with, and it does work like a traditional ballpoint pen, like a Bic Crystal. You can get really fine shading with it, really beautiful. And the sheen on this blue is pink. Very pretty. These come in a bigger size too, Parker XL, Parker Jotter XL. Inexpensive pen, can be refilled over and over again, will last your whole life. It's an awesome pen. This was a gift to me. This is a Pilot Ageless. You can't get these in the United States anymore. Someone gave this to me, and I really, really love it. This has a different kind of refill, and I cannot find, it's more like a gel. I'm still trying to find a refill that fits this that's traditional ballpoint. It's different. Looks like this. So I need to try a few things out and see if it just, because of the way the mechanics of the pen work, it needs this particular kind. And unfortunately, it's not traditional ballpoint ink. It's a hybrid. It's still really nice to write with, though. I enjoy writing with this pen. It does not have a sheen, but it's incredibly comfortable to hold, this grip. All right, this was also given to me by the same person. This is a Mont Blanc ballpoint pen. This is a vintage Mont Blanc. It's gorgeous. It is delightful to write with. It's one of my favorite pens to write with. And the Mont Blanc ink is traditional ballpoint. It has a really nice touch to the paper. Like I can feel it's got that stickiness that I love. It also, I can get very faint with it. And then really dark also. It's got a very heavy red sheen to it. Red. It's like the most of any. And no smudging at all. It's really, really nice. And you can only use, it's proprietary. So you can only use the Mont Blanc refills in this pen. I believe, I can't remember. Oh yeah, you just unscrew it. They last a very long time. It comes in black and blue. I don't even think it comes in red, but it is real ballpoint ink, oil-based. Delightful. And then this one, this is a Parker IM. Same people that make the Parker Jotter. As you can see by the clip, it's got the arrows on it. That's a Parker pen. Look how much thicker this is. It's a much thicker body. Unfortunately, the grip gets really narrow. And I hold my pens pretty far down. If I'm someone up here, it'd be great, but I don't. In this pen, I have Fisher Space Pen ink in silver, and I use it to draw lines in my journals with this. So I can have very little pressure and it's faint. I get more pressure and less pressure as I go. So I kind of get this disappearing line. And it is a metallic silver ink with a beautiful sheen. It just shimmers. If you write with it, it kind of looks like hard graphite. And it's just called silver. It's an ink refill that you can get. It looks like graphite, to be honest with you, but of course it doesn't smudge or erase. So I use this all the time. In fact, you can see like when I draw the lines on my page, I use that. So it's very faint and it's not obtrusive at all, right? I use it all the time, every day. And then finally, this is a Parker Urban, and very similar to the Parker IM. You know, it's just a little bit, it just looks different. It's a little bit lighter too. This is a heavier pen. And this also has the Parker Quink black in it, which is a really nice ink. And nothing beats the Bit Crystal for drawing, but you can draw with this for sure. And it has a nice dark line, which is darker than any of the others. This is a Parker Urban with Parker Quink. It's the darkest of all of the inks that I have. Except for this one, but that's only because it's a hybrid. Hybrids will be darker. So if I do this with my Parker Quink, it has the beautiful sheen, and it's kind of a bronzy copper sheen. A little bit. It's actually very close to the Mont Blanc. It's gorgeous. Okay, so those are my ballpoint pens. And even just writing this little bit, I can feel, and especially on the opposite side, like when I write the next page, it leaves the most delicious texture on the paper. I don't know, and it has that shimmer that I love, 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 love. And especially on this like tissue thin Tomoe River paper, it's just delightful. And between pencil and this, it's exactly what I love. I love to see the shimmer when I turn the page, when I'm writing. I don't know, it's delightful to me. So I just wanted to share that with you. Are you a ballpoint pen person? Why or why not? It doesn't really take the place of fountain pens, except for in here, I tend to use ballpoint more. Gel pens are too dark for me. Like if you saw the difference, let me just show you that really quickly. If you have, this is a gel pen. This is a Uni 1. Okay. So it's very crisp. It's very smudgy. So for a left-handed person, not ideal, right? But you see how dark this is? It's just really, really dark. And for me, I prefer the softer, you know, more transparent black of a ballpoint. It's just too dark for me. So that's another reason. And the smudging is a big deal when you're left-handed especially. Ballpoints never smudge. And the other benefit is if you are someone who likes to use highlighters, ballpoint takes any highlighter. Gel pens do not. Right? You can use it over any. Here you can see even that hybrid will use it once it's dry, right? But gel pens, can't use it. You can use watercolor over this. It doesn't matter. Your page could get soaked in the rain and it's not going to budge. That's because it's oil-based and not water-based, like a gel pen. All right, that's it. I just wanted to share that with you. I finished another book. I will talk about that soon, but not today. All right, see you soon. Oh, just a little check-in. We've got the flu here, and so I'm probably not going to film much for the next couple days, but I'm reading every now and then. Today I'm a little better as far as my head, um, and I have a little more energy, so I've been sitting in my chair working on this book, and it's wonderful. I'll review it once I'm done, hopefully by the end of the month. And yeah, just a quick check-in. I won't. Yeah, it seems like I was sick in January, in December too, in the beginning. I don't know. My husband brought home the flu. He was sick for 5 days, and this is going. Let's see. I came home from work early on Tuesday, so this is my third day. All right. See you when it's over. Hello, 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 hello. So I wanted to make a video of starting my new book, and this one is just about done. I've got a few pages left, I think. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's a few pages left here, so maybe 15 pages left. But I wanted to get my next book set up. And this book is a Hobonichi notebook. And I'm actually going to take this out of here and put a new one in the new book. I'm going to take it out of this cover so I can put the new book in. And let's see here. This is just an MD notebook cover. A5. There. Okay. So before I start the new one, I just wanted to take a look at this one for a minute. So I really did love this paper and this notebook. I might go back to it the next time, but I wanted to try something a little bit different for this next A5. And by the way, everything I do is in this book now, except the only thing that isn't in there is my future log or calendar, whatever you want to call it. That's in here. I needed a dated calendar for my appointments because I have a lot of them, timed appointments. So that is in this book, and then they end up in this book. Anyways, I loved this paper, and you know, I started this back on October 7th. So a while ago, and it went through some iterations, you know. I was trying some different things. There's a lot of special things that happened during the time that I was doing this book. So I'm going to miss it. And I've just kind of gone through lots of different kind of ways of setting it up and sort of working through different things. For instance, one of the things I worked through was, I'm so attracted to small handwriting. So did I really want to focus on keeping my handwriting nice and small, or did I really want to give myself space for my natural handwriting? And I ended up in this in this club. I like space. I like my natural handwriting, and this was just, it felt too confined and didn't feel true. So things like that, I worked out. Did I want 1 column, 2 columns, a different like division of space with 2 columns? I ended up with that, with 2 columns, but in a different way. This has been great. I mean, it's just, you know, a lot of experimentation with pens. Just love the way it feels. So I will miss that part of it, the way it feels with the pen on this paper, especially my beloved ballpoint pens. So a lot that I'll miss about this book. I even experimented with this calendar sticker, but it didn't work for me. It was just not enough room. Then I eventually put my commonplace in here also. I used to have a separate one, and now it's just built right in. Just built right in. So eventually, starting about here, I started doing something a little bit different. This is my index, which was for the rest of this book. This is my commonplace key. And I started putting my monthly or my weekly, just sort of taping it in. And this was to remind me of where that started. So I'm going to continue with that. And this is called a BK dashboard, and I love them. And they come like this from Baumkuchen in California, and I just made mine for this week. They come 26 pages to a pack, so about a half a year. Yeah, they're really, it's wonderful. So what I end up doing is, and then I put a little sticker here to show me where the new week begins. And then I still do my rolling daily, you know, my daily. So every day I write down what I have to do. Here's sort of my wider column with a smaller margin that's actually gotten even narrower. I'm sorry, I'm still congested, so I'm sure my voice doesn't sound great, but I really wanted to make this video while, yeah. Let me make sure. My husband just drove up, and sometimes that messes up because the car picks up my phone. Okay, good, it's off. So anyways, that's this. And see, now my margin's getting a little narrower. It's just been great. I love it. I love so much having everything within one space. I really love this layout, by the way. I love it. These 2 pages really thrilled me. So it's yeah, I mean, I don't need to talk about any more about that because I think I've talked about it enough. Then I started writing my daily things that I wanted to make rituals this year. And I ended up, here's a new week, right? And these are my meals that I'm going to make for that week that I bought groceries for. This is my calendar of appointments. And then just whatever. I really rarely use that side. Sometimes I do. So, what I ended up doing is getting a rubber stamp made. Did I talk about this yet? I'm not sure. I had a rubber stamp made. I designed this on my phone, and I sent it in and just had an inexpensive rubber stamp made with the things that I want to make rituals in my life more this year. And you can see when, there's the first time I used it. And then from there on in, we've been sick. So I didn't really use it that much. I did write almost every day. Some days I didn't do much. This is my plan for my new notebook. Yeah. So it's been delightful, absolutely delightful, I tell you. And I will miss it. I will definitely miss it. Look how neat it looks when you write really tiny like this. I really liked this layout, but it's just not, I'm not going to do this all the time, you know. I'm a user of my notebook. Sometimes my pages look incredibly messy. So that was just, it was almost too much for me. So for the next one, I'm going to try something without lines. And I just got my old standard MD notebook, A5, but without lines. I used to use the dot grid. And I don't know why, I just had a feeling that I wanted to try it. Without lines. And I don't know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But we'll get this set up. All right, so I put this in here so you didn't have to watch all of that. I'll clean this the next time I put it on. So I'm gonna I have a postcard that I want to put in here to sort of decorate it, but I don't have it yet. So when that happens, I'll take it out again and I'll clean this cover. It's got cat hair in there, imagine. I'll clean this cover up nicely and then decorate it. And I'll probably find an image from my favorite comic, The Girl from the Other Side, like I did here, and tape it in. Definitely going to do that because it brings me a lot of joy. So that will go here. And then I'm going to start here with an index. So I'm going to keep the index. Let me get my pen. I'm just going to write index here. My favorite Jelly Roll pen. And I think what I'll do is give a line on this side that just allows me to put the page numbers. Just really faint silver line, and then so I can write page numbers over here and then just write the corresponding pages. Now here's the thing, these books don't have page numbers. So what my task is going to be sometime today to go through and to write page numbers down. And so I'm going to leave 3 pages. I have 1, 2, 3 pages for the index. So 4. Okay. Okay, so I can start over here. And that will give me 4 pages. All right. And then I want to have a key. And I think I'm going to put that right here. So I have 3 colors, copper, gold, and silver. Should that be on the index page? I could do that up here, right here. So I'll do my copper, and this is for commonplace within the notebook. All right, and I'm going to write that in pencil in case I change my mind, which happens sometimes. So silver is going to stand for all things air related, so all things of the mind. And then gold is going to be earth, water. which is more of the physical, emotional, and then fire, which is and this could change. I'm just putting this in here for now. So that will be my commonplace key, which sort of denotes things like air is more things like art and poetry, you know, intellectual philosophy, things like that, right? It just literature, yeah. So that is subject to change. So anyway, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this is basically the start. Now, I want to have some collections in here. So I'm going to go back to the back, and I have to put the page numbers in, but I can write down what the collections are. So the last 2 pages, we'll say the last 3 pages are going to be books, and film. And this will just be a running list of that for me, the things that I've read and finished with really simple reviews, nothing too elaborate. Then I want to have a couple pages for my plans for my trip to Ireland this year. I think that's dry. Dry enough, so I'll put Ireland. Okay, and then I want a page of things that we're saving for. And then finally, currently inked. So that I'm gonna leave I'm gonna leave 4 pages for currently inked. And if I need to make more, I can. That's the cool thing about this. And just put them somewhere else. And those are really the only collections I feel like that need to go with me from the other book. The other ones, I just didn't use them enough to make it an issue. Yeah, see, this ink is not drying quickly enough. Oh, it's not too bad, is it? Okay. So that's it. So when I get my page numbers down, then I will write that in the index, what pages these begin on. And that's really all, right? So every week we'll still have a dashboard placed in. So let me start writing a few page numbers down. I only do the odd numbers. And I did this in the other notebook too. And I'll finish that later. All right, so my index is going to be 01 through 04. And then on page 05, week of I already made it. January 20th. And then I can put the end page when it ends, right? And then, like, if anything comes up where it's really important that I want to remember, even if it's within that week, I can write it in my index. Now, the one reason why I left blank books like this without lines is because I didn't like that I was always writing on a slant. And I'm not going to let that bother me this time. So page 5, so that means I'm going to tape this into here. All right. So basically, I just take a piece of washi tape. And I put it half on here. Okay. And then I trim it. Oh. I need new scissors really badly. And then you just kind of fold it up like this and stick it into the gutter like that. And there. Okay, it's there. And then, because it's the start of the new week, just take one of these, come over here, put it half on the paper, half off to the side, and then bend it. And that's just a little tab that helps me see the weeks as I go. So that's that. And then this would be, this would start for today. So, for instance, today is Wednesday. January 22nd. And then I can put my stamp. I wish I would have made the stamp smaller, but I thought I did. But I didn't, and that's okay. Okay. And I've actually already done this, this, and this. And then I can decorate over here. And that's basically how I set my day up, and then I start to write my list of things. I'll just keep it really simple today. All right, and so I just write things that I have to do on this side, and then I just cross them off as the day goes on. And then sometimes that list is really short, depends on if I'm going to work or not, or if I'm working from home. Sometimes it's really long. With appointments, everything goes here. So I basically look at this, right? And then it tells me what to write here. And then from there, it just begins journaling, commonplacing, or whatever, until the next day begins, and I start this all over again, no matter where I am. So sometimes that can be in the middle of a page, right? Like here was Tuesday. I finished Monday there, and Tuesday started here. So it just depends. And sometimes I don't do the margin up here. I wait until this is all, like my list and everything is done, and then I put my margin down. So I can just come out like this, about like right there. And there's my margin, and it's barely visible, but I can see it, which I really like. And then I do my journaling, and then sometimes I'll just make notes about what I've written over here. So it's like a quick synopsis of what's here. And sometimes I don't need to. It just depends. Really just depends. So that's it. And I kind of just wanted this blank paper for lots of different reasons, you know? And so the next thing that I thought is I would come back here and do a currently inked, because I've got some, I've kind of a little bit. So we'll just start with that. Then you can see what's currently inked. So this is Lamy LX in maroon with Lamy crystal agate. And so these are just notes to myself, because what I've found is that I forget. And I have no recollection of what's in my pens. And I find that the only reason I smear it like that is sometimes when inks are darker, it gives you more of an idea of what's happening there. And I just have shorthand names for my pens. I'm not going to write everything down. This is the Lamy Charcoal, for instance, and this is Lamy Cliff. And this way, I'm just more aware of what I have going on in my pens. This is Twisby Diamond. Only have one, so. And this is Diamine Sepia. Love this ink. Vanishing Point. Iro Shizuku. Fuyu Syogan. This pen has never had any other ink in it, and it's forever ink for sure. I really wish I would have gotten this pen with a wider nib. I don't know why I got an extra fine. This is my Twisby Eco, and this is Diamine Celadon Cat. This is Faber-Castell. I don't even know what it's called. I've had it a long time. And I don't always ink it up, but I just felt like it. And this is Waringal Stone Road. One of my favorite inks ever, and it's been discontinued. So, and this is a triangular pen. It's super beautiful. I can't remember who made it, Moon Man or somebody. It's a copy of an Omos pen from a long time ago. I have the same ink in here. I'm just gonna put Omos copy. The pen's long been discontinued, but this is sort of a copy of it. And this is also Waringal. This is such a fun pen. You can see the nib has a little bit of springiness to it, and you get some nice shading. I think I have two more, three more. This is a Pelikan M400, and this is Edelstein Pelikan ink in Moonstone. It's gorgeous ink. And then this I'm just using up. I won't buy it again, but I really do like it. It was just very hard to get a hold of. It's from Berlin Notebook in Berlin. You can't get it stateside. And I think things from Europe and Canada are going to start to get incredibly expensive and prohibitive. So, anyways, this is Twisby Mini. It's my only Twisby Mini, so, and then it's Berlin Fox #6, and I love it. Absolutely love that ink. When it's done, I'm just gonna go back to Diamine Ancient Copper, which I might even love more. And then finally, my very favorite pen and my very favorite ink together in one. This is so fine that it's difficult to get a sample like this. Oh, I got a little fox in there. This is a sailor. It's called Snow Moon. And it's got a custom nib. And the ink is Kyo no Oto. And I think it's called Cloud Mist. I can't remember the Japanese name. Cloud Mist. They only have one gray, really. But oh, it's a pretty one. Look at the shading in that and the beautiful line variation of this pen. So that's my currently inked. And so now when I forget what's in a pen, I can just turn to the back of my notebook and it's there. And if I change one, I'll just update it, you know? Look at that beautiful selection of inks. So pretty, so soft. My favorite is definitely either this one or the Stone Road. Yeah, I love them. Here's my new notebook. I'm pretty excited. And once I get it decorated and get in a few pages, I'll just make a quick video before the end of the month to show you that. But yeah, I'm gonna probably just write more in here today. And yeah, I'll miss this one though, for sure. All my stuff is, oh, and I need to put one of these back here too. This is a pocket from Hobonichi. A lot of different companies make them, but it's just a little pocket you can stick on. And that's where I stick my commonplace stickers in there. So it works pretty well. So I'll do that as well. All right, everybody, I hope you're well. And I will see you again soon. Hi, I just want to finish up with this. I got the postcard in that I wanted to use to decorate the front, and I just put some washi on the side. I just trimmed it down so it would fit across, and then put some washi on the side, and then just put the date that I started the book. I used some Jelly Roll Starlight to just put a few bits of glitter there. I think that's all I want to do. And I cleaned my cover, although it just doesn't seem like it ever gets clean. And I hate to put it in here because I love the feel of this paper and I love seeing the glow of the artwork without it, but it does protect it. And one of these plastic things lasts me a few years. I've had this one a few years. It's starting to get kind of worn out. It's a little ripped there, but still good. Yeah. So that's it. So what is that in there? I think it's just it's not a hair. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, there we go. So I did go back to Mind, Body, Spirit. It's just easier. This is the week so far. And this is today so far. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. Anyways, February will be next. So I just wanted to sign off on January. And I want to invite you all to consider joining me for the Quiet Horizon. It's never too late. You can join by joining my Patreon as a free member, or as if you're already on, you can also, do it from any level, but you don't have to pay to be in the Quiet Horizon. You can find out more on my Patreon, which I'll put a link in the description box. Also a little link to my Substack. I am really not going to be on social media that is fueled by the metaverse. So you will find me on Patreon, on Substack, and here on YouTube. Yeah, more later, but I hope you enjoyed this little video of January. It's not as much as I wanted to, but we were really sick here, so it just didn't turn out the way a normal month would. But I still think there's some value there. So I will see you in February, at the end of February. And I hope you're all well. And I hope to see you in the Quiet Horizon. You can participate as much or as little as you want, but it's just kind of a glimpse into really what I'm thinking about right now and working on right now. And I see it as a real-time sort of discovery place for all of us together. Place of great sanctuary in a way. All right, everybody. I will see you in February. Take good care.